So we're going to get into our next session. And this one is going to be on making your technical expertise impossible to ignore. That sounds exciting, right? We all want to be indispensable. I love that. So please help me welcome to the stage Kristen Noelle. Y'all give her a round of applause.
I'm just taking in this room right now of all of your beautiful faces, the energy in here. I've been feeling it. I've been feeling it. So I have a question. How many of you have ever walked into a meeting and heard somebody explaining your work back to you, but they was wrong? And they still get the credit for it. And they get the recognition, they get the promotion, they get the raise. And what do you get? More work. Right. Or how about this? Have you ever watched somebody with about half as much experience as you, but they are popping on Instagram, they are going viral on LinkedIn, you see them getting all the opportunities, and you're like, wait a minute now. You're not hating, you're not a hater, you're just wondering, why isn't that me? Why not me? When's my turn? I know I have that experience, right? You know you have the experience. You know you have the intelligence. None of you in here are lacking for that. You're not lacking the impact. What you might be lacking, though, is a system for making your expertise and your impact impossible to ignore. You need the system. You need the blueprint. You need to make your impact visible. You need to make it known. You need to share it in front of the right people and be able to explain it in a way that matters to them. Get them to care. Because you all here have something that deserves to be heard, it deserves to be seen, and you deserve to be paid for that. So I have a question, and I want you to you can either sit quietly or share it with me. I would love to hear. But I just want you to think about, why does it matter to you to make your expertise impossible to ignore? Would love to kind of hear too, what's on the other side of that for you? What does it look like for your expertise to be heard and seen? Is there more opportunities? The coin. And where's that coin going to come through? Do you have your own business? Is it going to be a raise? What's on the other side for you? Is it more clients? Is it that executive C-suite position? Is it speaking opportunities? Is it thought leadership? Where's that going to come from? I would love to hear any more experiences or any more. Yeah.
Well, to know that what you're doing is valuable
Mm-hmm.
and helping people, especially if you're wanting to start your own business, you want to know, is this going to actually, help? I need to know if what I'm doing is.
And how will you know? How do you validate that? Is it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why it matters to me personally is because representation matters.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I want other people, other girls who look like me, to say, I can do that.
Yes.
I would say freedom and flexibility, because organizations don't push around employees when they respect their skill, and not, try to take advantage of the firm.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, you're speaking my language. Yes. Yes. You want to be cited. You want to be credited for your work. You want to be paid. You want to be able to get clients to work with you at the rate that you know you're worth. I know I want to see more of us on stages when I'm going to certain tech conferences and things. And I'm like, where are all the sisters? Where are the Black women? And whenever I do see us, we're always tearing it up. We are always the ones bossing up that stage. It's nobody like us, but it's not enough of us in these spaces. We're not always the ones being celebrated, acknowledged, and paid for all of the magic that we bring. And it's not just our expertise, it's who we are. It's our stories, it's our identities, it's our magnetism. So we deserve that. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Back in 2016 or so, I decided to up and move to Thailand. I didn't know anybody out there. I didn't have a job out there. I just wanted to travel the world. I wanted to see a different side of living. And I knew that my job in the government, while it was nice, secure, that wasn't all there was to my life. I was fresh out of undergrad, and I'm from Maryland, just outside of DC. And the pinnacle of success there is a good government job. I had that, I had that. I was in the Pathways program for undergrads, and I was supposed to go on and get my full-time job in Office of Personnel Management, but my soul was suffering. Those gray walls, it was dry. I just like, how could anybody do this forever for the next 50 years? Like, no, thank you. So I decided to move abroad. I wanted a different experience. I decided to start freelancing. I had a digital marketing business that I started. I didn't know anything about business. I just knew how to play on the computer. I knew how to design my own websites and sell jewelry online. And I was like, I can do this for other people. I can build websites. That's going to be my moneymaker. I didn't have any business skills though. So getting clients, that was a whole nother story. Yes, I could do social media, I could write, but getting clients, nobody taught me that. Then I went on to land a job in Malaysia, and I was working for this really cool startup. I was a digital marketing manager, and we learned and experienced so much. I mean, we were building campaigns, we were writing emails, running webinars. I was learning how to sell online products, and I was working with people from all over the globe. Literally any country you could probably name, we had employees at that company. I was doing so much in the midst of building my own business on the side. But once I came back to America, about 3 years later, I found myself broke because getting paid in Asia is not the same as getting paid in America. I didn't have a job, and I didn't know how to even explain the value of what I was doing out there to employers here. How do I talk about this startup in Malaysia that I was working at that they've never heard of? How do I talk about the fact that I just decided to up and move to the other side of the world without knowing anybody? How do I talk about this company, Mind Valley, where we sold online courses about personal development and growth? I was experiencing so much, but I didn't know how to share that. And my direction was just lost. I came back to the States after traveling, living the life, and working hard, but it was just like, how do I talk about that? What is my next move going to be? How do I explain this on my resume? Boy, I didn't know. I really had no idea. And I found myself side hustling and going on interviews, getting rejected. And I just remember it was like rejection number, who knows what. I lost count. I was driving home from my side hustle. I got yet another rejection from a company who I knew I was way qualified for. And I just bursted into tears at that point because I was like, who is going to finally recognize my worth? Who's going to hire me? I need some money. DC and Thailand. Ciao. Thailand, you are living like a queen off about $1,500 a month. What you think that gets you in DC? So it was rough. It was rough. After that, 50th rejection call, I was just breaking down because I was just like, what is going to be next for me? What does my life look like? I knew I was a visionary. I knew I had this entrepreneurial bone in my body. I knew I wanted to impact lives through my digital marketing business. But putting that all together for the next step of my career, it took time. Then I finally did land the job, getting paid more than I would have gotten paid at any of those companies that rejected me. That brought my confidence back, helped me start investing in my dream again, in my business again. And it's taken some time, but I was able to build up my business, start to communicate the value of the services that I provide, get clients. When I first relaunched my business, I was offering packages for like $200. Then I took that to $2,000. Then I took that to $5,000, and then 10, and then 15. Then I was landing a six-figure contract. And it came because I started to get better and better at communicating my message, explaining the value, and connecting with the right people who were ready to receive. Because that's another extremely important part. Even when people want to work with you, if they don't have the budget. So, really getting to that point where I was able to understand the value, understand the message and how it impacts and how it resonates with people. That has led me to receiving opportunities and getting a client that I got to go to Paris for example, a business trip through my own company to Paris for a dream opportunity. Like, wow, that meant so much to me. Being able to be on the stage right now, just through the work that I do and being able to communicate that work. It's really fulfilling. It shows me that it's possible to take those steps to get closer and closer to the dream that I'm chasing, which is really to continue impacting women like yourself, literally my dream, and to get paid for it. Shout out to Dr. Brandeis. So, being able to translate that expertise is super important for you all. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I really want you to continue to remember what's on the other side of being able to tell your story and scale your story and make that translate into revenue and opportunities. That's the framework we're going to be talking about. The problem is that we have not been trained or taught how to do this. We're not taught that to really get what we want in life, we have to be saleswomen. We have to be CEOs. Is anybody in here a CEO? This is really a trick question. Everybody should be raising your hand. We are all CEOs, ladies. We are all CEOs. We are all CEOs. You are a CEO. I am a CEO. You are CEO of your life, your career. You have to think of it like that. Even if your dream or goal is not to run a business, because that is okay. I'm not here to tell you you have to open your own business. If that's not what you want to do, it's not for everybody. But you do have to think about your life as your business and how you run your career, the direction. Think like a CEO. Think like a saleswoman. Even if you're not in sales, even if sales scares you, change your relationship with how you see sales. We all have to be an advocate for our own self. We're not taught that. We're not always taught that. We don't always have the blueprint, the language, but it's so important to learn these skills because if not, we get held back. The women around us are held back. Our daughters are held back. I know for me, I grew up with a mom who I love to death, and she does not play any games, but she did not have the skill set of negotiation or being able to explain and know your worth. So my mom was more of a don't rock the boat, don't ask for too much. You don't want to scare them away. So whenever I would get an opportunity, she wasn't really pushing, for me to ask for more. My first job out of college was a $30,000 job, $35,000 in LA. And she told me to don't rock the boat. And that mindset can hold us back from so much over the lifetime of our career. So we have to learn how to own our value, speak up for our value, negotiate our worth, and it starts with being able to hone your impact. Know how to articulate that impact to the right people. We don't always get what we deserve. We get what we negotiate. Our work, we're taught that our work should speak for ourselves, should speak for itself, but the work doesn't have a voice. You have the voice. You have to give your work its voice. So I'm going to take you through a framework, the system, to do exactly that. It's what I call scale. For Black women who refuse to stay invisible. Hopefully, scale helps you remember. S is showcasing your unique story. The C is for connecting with decision makers. A is articulating your value in their language. L is launching visibility campaigns. And E, elevate to revenue opportunities. Think of this as your roadmap. And at the end, that E, that's the gold, your revenue opportunities. Whatever it is that's your why or your what, that's at the end of this roadmap. So starting with S, showcasing your unique story. More than likely, you have been conditioned, if not taught fully out, to minimize your accomplishments, to avoid seeming braggadocious or self-serving. Who does she think she is? Let them know you are that woman. Don't shy away from that. One thing that can help you showcase your story, first you have to know your story. Document the things that are happening as you go through life, day to day, in your work, week to week. How often are you taking the time to just pause and write down what have your wins been? Are you keeping track of those wins? Keeping it in a folder, keeping it in a document, keeping it on a notepad. You have to capture these wins in real time while the details are still fresh, because if not, they start to get lost, get fuzzy. Have an example for you from Asia. Is Asia here? If you go to her LinkedIn, she has some wonderful stories. Just the way that she shares her experiences, it's beautiful. And just as an example, go to her page and you can see just kind of how she talks about her experiences and going through her dissertation, how she's getting through that. Just as an example, we want to be able to showcase our stories because they matter. You know, other people who look like us and other people who don't look like us, they need to see these stories. They need to see these experiences and how you're experiencing your life and the work that you do. Definitely check out Asia's page because she does such a great job at that. The transparency that you're able to share through your stories builds trust. It showcases your humanity, connects you with people on a human level, and it demonstrates your expertise at the same time. So the what, capturing and documenting your wins as they happen or your experiences. I'd recommend creating a folder in Google Drive, could be on your phone, could be in a notebook, as long as you do it regularly and in real time. And you don't have to always share them. It can be for some things can be for you, but you need to collect. You need to collect your stories, your experiences. And I recommend doing that within 48 hours of them happening. So you have those details, they're fresh, and you'll start to just pick up as things happen, as you experience, different work situations or life situations. It'll start to become second nature to you to start to collect them. Let me write this down. You're building a portfolio of proof for yourself, for the audience you want to impact, for the decision makers who you want to hire you. Take those screenshots. You can share it on LinkedIn or your other online platforms, but you need to be collecting your wins and experiences, and you need to understand how to pick up on just different life, happenstances as they're happening. Write them down. Don't let them get lost in the shuffle or in the fuzzy memory. Write them down as they happen. Start to showcase, start to tell more of your stories too. Whether that's online, whether if you have an opportunity to at work, if you are in any ERGs, just speaking up, not shying away from telling your experiences. That's the first step. It's just being comfortable owning your story, collecting your stories, and then showcasing your stories. I like to call it a story bank. That collection that you're doing, that process of screenshotting things or writing things down as they happen. And then looking to others for examples too, for that inspiration. Like me sharing Asia's, sharing that inspiration can help you, take that and figure out how you might want to start sharing your story. What is your voice? What kind of experiences do you want to share? So start your I did that list. Write down the date, write down the achievement, write down the specific impact, who benefited. Also, create your brag bank. This is different from your story bank. Your brag bank is when you get that email or that text or that Teams DM. Great job on this. I love how you did this. Or what you said really impacted me. Start to collect those as they happen. You need your receipts. I just started a new job last month and got an email from my manager about this project I did, and she was just like, "Great job, Kristen. For you to be 3 weeks in, you are killing it." I immediately took a screenshot, saved it in my brag bank. Somebody else complimented an email that I wrote, screenshot, put that in the brag bank. Even a comment somebody left on a document. It was an engineer. I had been reviewing a document that an external agency put together. I was reviewing the document, offering suggestions, and the engineer was like, "Go ahead and go with Kristen's suggestions." I screenshotted that. Screenshot everything. That demonstrates your expertise, that demonstrates other people acknowledging your expertise, and keep that in a folder, your brag bank folder. Those are going to be your receipts, your proof, your evidence that you need to back it up. And don't let this fall off. That's why I recommend to set a reminder, a weekly reminder, 2 p.m. on Fridays, 4 p.m. Friday, 3 p.m. Thursday. It doesn't matter when. Just make sure that it doesn't fall off. Make sure it's a regular thing that you're doing, because sometimes we get so lost in the shuffle of working. We're busy. But make sure that as these wins are happening and as the feedback is coming in, you're collecting it. You're remembering to go back while it's fresh. C, the next part is connecting with decision makers. You already know that people are out there who have the power to do things like give you a raise, give you a promotion, hire you. There are businesses who need your expertise, who need what you know. There are people who can get you published in an industry publication. There are people who can bring you on stage at that conference, that summit. Who are the people who are making those decisions? It's time to start making sure they know who you are. It's time to get curious about their world. One of the best ways to start to connect with people is to be curious about what they care about, what's important to them. If they are, if they're an editor of an industry publication, what are some of the stories that they're not seeing? What's fresh? What are some opinions that might get them more readership? They care about readership. If it's a committee chair for a conference, what does their audience want to hear? What do those chairs care about when it comes to who they're hiring as a speaker? If it's an organization, if it's a company, who are the decision makers within that company and what do they care about in their specific role? Your job is to start to understand what matters to different people and how does your expertise benefit what matters to them. So when it comes to decision makers, it really depends on what your goal is. I have a list here, just an example, just a few examples of decision makers, depending on what your goal might be. Now, this looks different for every organization, for every opportunity. It's not always going to be the same person, the same title, the same role, but this is a good place to get you started. So if you want speaking opportunities, some of the people that you might want to start connecting with are committee chairs, event directors, the ones with control over the budget, the C-suite, the COO, CEO, CMO. Just do some research. If you are looking for, a speaking opportunity, go on that website and see if you can find who is the organizer, who is the one responsible for bringing in these speakers. If you are looking for consulting contracts, VPs and directors, chief data officer, chief analytics officer, that C-suite, department heads. Who are the department heads that are facing the biggest data challenges that you can then come in and service their department? Whoever runs that department more than likely has the power to bring you in as a consultant. If you're looking for internal advancement in your own company or in your own organization, the skip level managers, your boss's boss, making sure you're on their radars, and other leaders, cross-functional leaders who see your work. Making sure you're talking to them, making sure you're getting to know them. And executive sponsors, who can sponsor your projects? Just making sure you're having more conversations, more connections. So we're going to use AI. Not right now, you can screenshot these prompts, but AI has been my assistant in landing opportunities, landing clients. And the way that I use AI is, my AI of choice is Claude. Is anybody familiar with Claude? Okay, love Claude. So how I use Claude is I create a project. And within that project, let's just say I have a project for my business. I have a project for my full-time job. I have a project for each client I work with. And within that project, I feed it with information about my offers, my my voice too, so my natural voice, my writing style, my LinkedIn posts. I feed it with information about my ideal client profile. So who am I looking to serve? What are their profiles? Things like their challenges, their goals, what they've tried before that hasn't worked. If I'm looking for speaking opportunities, what's the information about the speaking opportunity or the event? And I put it all in that same project. The more I feed it, the more it knows. So I have a project, and then you can give it a prompt like this. I want to land 3 new clients paying $5,000 a month in the next 6 months. The people who can make this happen control their vendor budget. They control their learning and development budget. They control the marketing budget. Who are the people? And they want to what? So the people who hire me typically want to land more clients or grow their social media following. They want to land more speaking opportunities. And they're struggling typically with communicating their value. They're struggling with their engagement rate. They're struggling with getting people to hire them at the rate that they're looking for. Who should I connect with to make this happen? So the more information you can give it, obviously, the better your output will be. And you can even ask, make this prompt even better for me. And then it will give you, I know Claude, once you turn on that research button, it'll give you real names, real companies, real information, even if they can find their contact information. Claude can do all of that. Chat probably can too. Might not always be 1,000% accurate, you know how chat is, but it can really get you started in giving you that list of decision makers that you would want to start connecting with and making sure you're visible in front of them on LinkedIn, for example. So I have a 30-day connection plan for you to start identifying those decision makers who have the power to bring you in either as a consultant, an advisor, a speaker, a thought leader, subject matter expert, whatever your goal is. Identify who you need to connect with. So if it's external, 10 external decision makers, and within your company, 10 internal influencers. And maybe they're not just going to be the ones who have the power to give you that raise or promotion, but maybe they influence leadership. Cross-functional leadership also matters. So get your 20 down in weeks 1 and 2. And then start doing your research on them too. See if you can find out what they're talking about on LinkedIn, or if they're in your company, what projects are they working on? And start to connect. Start to ask them about their thoughts on XYZ or what they're learning, what they're doing, what they're excited about. What are you looking forward to for 2026? I saw what you did here and I thought that was super cool. Here's what I'm seeing in the industry over on my side. Start to share your take on things as well. Comment meaningfully on their content. And if you can, have more conversations, booking calls, even a coffee chat. Share relevant resources, but just listen and really take in what they're talking about, what they care about, what's their take on things. And then share your take. But it's about being curious about their world and what they care about, and truly understanding, okay, what do they want to achieve out of XYZ? What's that goal look like for them? And that helps you determine how your work can impact them. How does your work play a role into their goals? because ultimately everybody is out for self, right? So if you can care about what they care about, that automatically puts you in a better position to be able to share the value of what you do in a way that can benefit them. So the system is to connect consistently with decision makers. And it doesn't have to be you blowing them up or obviously spamming people. No, but really find out who you can naturally connect with, gravitate towards, and then make sure it's consistent for you. So if that looks like you reaching out to 3 people a week, 3 people a month, just keep it ongoing. Claim your space. Your expertise deserves to be seen. You deserve to be paid for it. So I have a mantra for you. I have permission to take up space in their inbox, their calendar, and their budget. My expertise has been underpriced for too long. That changes today. So it's just a reminder to yourself, because I know we can get in our head sometimes when we are thinking about reaching out to somebody. They're probably busy, they don't know me, they are a CEO, so they're just another person. People enjoy connecting on a human level. They enjoy when people are curious about them. People love to talk about themselves. So if you ask those questions, you can really resonate with them. And again, you have so much value. If this is somebody who you know you can impact, you're not bugging them. You're really trying to change their lives. You're trying to change their organization, their team, their department. You're trying to save them money. So just remind yourself to claim that space. So A, articulating in their language. So you've documented your wins, you're starting to collect your stories, you've already started to talk to decision makers, you're asking them questions, you're understanding their world, you're understanding what is important to them. Now learn to communicate in their language. So if we're talking about executives, what do they care about? Business outcomes, revenue, risk, efficiency. So we have to learn to speak in the language of a decision maker. And if you want the big budget clients, if you want the CEOs, the CMOs, the CDOs, all of the C suite, you need to learn what's important to them and how to speak in their language. You might have learned to talk about what you did, but now you need to learn to talk about why. Why does it matter? Who does it matter to? Who did it help? So you have to kind of learn to be multilingual. Different audiences care about different things, and you'll have to explain the work that you do in different ways, depending on the audience who you're speaking to. Different achievements need different framing. If you are looking to get published, for example, they might care about one thing. If you're looking to get a contract, they might care about something different. If you're just talking to your peers, they understand it in a different way. So it's just understanding the context of who you're communicating with and knowing. For example, if you're going to go post on LinkedIn, think about it as if you're speaking to one person. Who is that one person you're talking to? Who is the one person you hope sees this? Is it just your everyday coworker? Or is it a manager? Is it a leader that you hope sees this? Is it a potential client? Just understanding who is this geared towards and how do I need to position this? So what leaders care about, you can think of it like rise. They care about revenue. How did you grow or protect the revenue? Inefficiency. What did you eliminate? What did you optimize? What did you streamline? Speed. How fast did you do it? How have you accelerated critical processes? Exposure. What risks have you mitigated or prevented? Use more of these power words: accelerated, prevented, protected, unlocked. transformed, revealed. There's more. You'll definitely start to uncover your power words as you share your wins, you document your work, you work with AI to figure out how to tell these stories, tell your wins in the ways that matter to your audience. Again, it's understanding, what do they care about? Who is the decision maker? Who am I trying to impact? What matters to them? So sometimes this looks like replacing technical terms with business impact. So for example, instead of saying I optimize the algorithm, you would say I reduce customer wait times by 40%. Instead of I built a predictive model, for example, you might say I help prevent $2 million in losses. Instead of only saying I analyzed user behavior, you might say I discovered why 30% of customers were leaving. So do you understand? Do you see, how you start to reframe? So you're not saying I optimize the algorithm, you're adding. By doing that, I reduce customer wait times by 40%. We're not changing what you did, just how you describe it. And then you can see which one is getting more attention. Start to test out your language that you're using and see who notices, who starts to comment on it, whose eye are you catching. If you listen to the language of the leaders in your meetings, what are they talking about? What are they caring about? And sometimes it's not always what they say to you directly. You have to kind of pick up on those indirect clues. For example, in my new job, so I got hired as a technical copywriter. And what that looks like is not just me taking orders of, can you write this flyer? Can you write this email? Can you write this case study? No, I have to understand, who am I writing this for? And how does it move customers along their journey? And how does it get the company paid faster? How does it get them paid more? How does it get them paid easier? I have to understand how to break down what an engineer does and translate that to what a VP cares about. Before in my company, there was an external agency doing the work that I'm now doing. They wanted to bring it in-house. What does that mean for my company? They're saving tens of thousands of dollars by bringing it in-house versus continuing to work with these agencies all the time. So for me, my resume item isn't just going to be, oh, I'm writing case studies. No, I'm saving the company $50,000, for example. If I can reframe how this technical data infrastructure is positioned and help the customer understand it better, maybe this will increase sales by 20%. So again, it's understanding what they care about, it's speaking their language, getting their attention. The technical talk doesn't always translate to people. So we have to know how to break that down and give it a business context, especially when we're talking to decision makers. So that's what I mean with articulating in their language. Now, if you're talking to your everyday, average person, how does it impact them? Why should they care? So it's always thinking about your audience. Who is the one person I'm speaking to right now? If you're going to write a LinkedIn post, if you're going to pitch yourself, who is that one person? What do they care about? A couple more examples. Instead of improved model accuracy, reduce costly errors by 40%. Instead of optimized database queries, I gave leaders real-time insights instead of day-old data. Instead of built automated pipeline, I eliminated 20 hours of manual work weekly. So you're leading with impact. You talk about your methodology when it matters, and you also talk about the impact when it matters. So it's just understanding, what is the context of me sharing this story? What is the context of me articulating my value? What am I trying to achieve here? And you want to bring that into those conversations, whether you are speaking to a potential client, whether you're pitching yourself for a thought leadership opportunity, whether it's in the bonus, the review conversations. So, quick exercise. I want you to turn to your partner, think of one project you're proud of, and explain that to your partner in a way that describes the business aspect or the business impact. So, try to use that language that we talked about with RISE: revenue, inefficiency, speed, exposure. See if you can get to the real business impact. And your partner's job is to ask, so what? Why does that matter? Keep asking why it matters until you hit the human impact. Okay, let's take a few minutes. I'll give it 4 minutes or so, so each of you can have 2 minutes each. All right, all right. So, how are we feeling? Are you starting to understand how to talk about your projects, hit that human impact, and use different language? Yeah, good. Good, good, good. So, I'm going to give you all a prompt to help you continue to do this, continue to hone in on your language. You can screenshot. I'm also going to give you a guide at the end of this that has all these prompts too. So try this. I am a blank who does blank. You can use one of your achievements, put metrics in there whenever you can, and you can just brain dump, drop it all in there. That's what I've been doing with my new projects at work. Like whenever I'm working on something, I literally drop it into Claude. I talk about who requested it, what's it for, the value of it. Just drop it all in there. Then say, help me translate this for the specific title of the decision maker or the specific audience. Who do you want to impact? Have your AI, have Claude, my girl Claude, have it help you break down how to translate that for the audience you're looking to target, the title, and what they care about. Throw in what they care about. And it's best to get what they care about from direct conversations. Have more conversations with people, just asking questions. If you can connect with the decision maker, just ask them, what are your goals? What's challenging here? What's not working? What are you looking to improve? Take all that data and put it into your prompt, what they care about, and then tie that back to your goal. Okay, so my goal is to, what are some of your goals? Would love to hear. What's one of your goals that you would love to articulate so that you can achieve? Anybody want to share?
I'll
Yes.
share.
Yes, Debbie.
Monetize more in 2026.
Yes. Monetize more through your business, right? You want to gain more clients or do you want to increase your rate? Which one?
Quality.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. A very specific demographic.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else want to share a goal? Kiara, hi. Yes, dress. Hey. Right. There we go.
Now it's on. Okay. Yeah, my goal is to more speaking opportunities, but to be more specific, speaking opportunities for a specific demographic.
Mm-hmm.
Top data and AI conferences.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal.
Yes. And is there a fee attached to that? Is there like a minimum?
Yes.
Okay. What's your fee? You want to share?
So 4,500 for workshops.
Yes.
Definitely gonna be like 8K for keynotes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm giving my first one in October, by the way. And then just for like regular sessions or panels,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be cool with like 2.
Right, right. Good. Okay. And so I would put that all into the prompt. Here's who I'm looking to speak to.
Okay.
Here are the events I want to land. Here are the decision makers of these events. And sometimes you may not know that. And sometimes AI can help you find that, dig that information. Put that in there. Talk about your work. How will it impact this audience?
Okay.
Why should this decision maker bring me in? So you have to hone in on what are your strengths? How are you going to wow that audience? Not just with your expertise, but also, are you engaging? Are you conversational? Do you give real implementation, real tools? So put that all in there. Put in what your decision maker cares about, and then your fee too, because you want to find the events that have the budget,
Right. Because it's
not just these volunteer speaker. No, like your fee is your fee. You're looking for those 4,500. You're looking for those 8K. So who are the decision makers that have that hiring power in that budget to bring you in? Drop that all into your prompts. And again, using RISE language. So, what does your decision maker care about? What does that audience care about? The people who have that power to bring you in. Put that all into the prompt.
Okay.
And then they will help you put that into language. It will help you put that into language, whether that is through a pitch or whether that is negotiation language to confidently state what your rate is. So, yes, that's what I would say. Like, put it all in there. Put your fee, your goal, this prompt. And then it'll give you that language that you can use, the power phrases that you can use in your emails, in your conversations, in your resume, on your speaker page. So, yes,
Okay.
good luck, girl.
Thank you.
Yes, land those keynotes. So, give it as much context as possible. Be specific about your audience. And then L is for launching visibility campaigns. What do I mean by that? I mean, for example, getting more visible on LinkedIn or on your platforms doesn't just have to be LinkedIn. It could be Instagram, it could be TikTok, wherever your audience is, or it could be in an industry publication. But the goal here is to have a specific timeline in mind. I'm not here to tell you to just post every single day for the rest of your life. Maybe you take it in sprints, maybe you take it in quarters, maybe you dedicate the next 90 days to staying visible. Then you take a breather. Maybe it's a month. And yes, we do have to be consistent to reach our goals, but that doesn't mean all of the time being everywhere. That doesn't mean posting every single day. That does not mean posting on 12 different platforms. It means choosing the platform that you want to prioritize, committing to a time frame that you can be consistent, and getting your thought leadership out there, making it visible, getting in front of the right decision makers, the right audience. So here are some ideas for what you can share. Industry insights. Position yourself as your strategic thinker. You are a thought leader. That means you lead through your thinking, not only your doing. What are your ideas? What are you seeing? What are the trends that you anticipate? What are you studying and learning? And then pillar 2, problem-solving stories. Here's how I approached. So talk about how you're approaching these new challenges that are coming up. What's your process like? You don't have to give away all the goods. You can just keep it high level and keep it impact focused. So I do this because of XYZ. This is how I go about achieving this or solving this problem. And then pillar 3, making tech human. So what does specific concepts mean for people? How can you make it more accessible to your everyday average non-techie or even your decision maker? Your decision maker is not always going to be super technical. So again, articulating it in their language. Example. Another example. Kiara is somebody who really positions her thought leadership really well. You know, I've seen your posts on your various platforms. So again, if you want to look to certain people as examples, she's one of the people who I recognize, like the way that you break down your thought leadership, what you're learning, how you're going about new projects. Definitely check her out as an example. Asia, I used you as an example earlier while you weren't here. You also do this really well of sharing your story and breaking it down on your page and being able to make the work that you're doing very human by really integrating, you know, the real life aspect, not just the work that you're doing, but your real life behind it too. So you're showcasing that thought leadership, but you're also showcasing the human side, and you're also showcasing why it matters to people. So that's what this is about. It's really about making your leadership visible, posting, being consistent, making sure that it's in the language of your ideal target audience, and staying consistent. Who here has not posted on any platform in the last 30 days when it comes to like your work or your business? Okay. Are you going to change that? Okay. Good, 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 good. Yes, let's get more visible. Let's get more visible. You know too much to keep it to yourself. So here's another prompt for y'all because I love the prompts. Because oftentimes, right, like we get in our head about what to say, how to say it. It takes too much time. So let's use AI to make this process faster. So here's a 15-minute prompt that you can use. I want to establish thought leadership in blank area. Based on these current industry challenges, help me create a contrarian or unique perspective that showcases my expertise. Or you could just put your unique perspective in. Format this as a LinkedIn post that positions me as someone who sees solutions that others miss. So, mind you, this is not just a prompt like, help me write a LinkedIn post about XYZ. No, it's positioning you as a thought leader. It will give you ideas for how to post and how to position something in a way that sees unique perspectives, unique solutions, and it really helps you start to realize, okay, how can I share my expertise in a different way or in a unique way? How can I highlight things that may be underneath that surface? Because that is thought leadership, right? It's not always saying what's popular. It's having a hot take. And make sure you are understanding those industry challenges and dropping them in too. So 30-day challenge, choose 2 stories or 2 wins that you've collected. In the first step, showcase your unique data story. Put those 2 wins, use this prompt. And then of course, you want to edit and tweak the output that it gives you. You want to make sure you add in your own voice. You want to make sure you add in your own personality. And then start launching your posts. Maybe it's twice a week, maybe it's once a week. Stay consistent if you can, at least for 30 days. And then track what's sparking conversations. Who's commenting, who's liking, who's sharing something meaningful about their experiences. You want to track that. You want to keep it in mind. You want to start to understand, like, okay, this is what people are responding to. Maybe I should lean in here. Maybe this would be good to publish an article about. Maybe there is a magazine or industry publication that would pick this up. Maybe this would be a good keynote session. Here's another prompt. And this one is for your 4-week content plan. Create a 4-week LinkedIn content plan for a blank your role who specializes in blank your niche. Mix insights, case studies, and industry commentary. For each week, give me a specific topic an intention grabbing first line, a call to action question. Focus on content that attracts speaking and consulting opportunities. So notice we're just getting deep with the prompts. And I say again, you can prompt your prompt. Say, make this prompt even better for me to reach my goals. So make sure that you are personalizing this with your actual goals. If you're not looking for speaking opportunities, change it. It's okay. If you're not necessarily looking for consulting opportunities, just make sure you put in what your actual goals are, and then have the LinkedIn content that it gives you, or the content plan, make it really specific and personal to what you're trying to do. So this is how you become more visible as a thought leader. And when you're more visible as a thought leader, more people are starting to give you those looks of, I need to bring her in. I need someone like her on my team. I need to hire her for my conference. That visibility builds trust. So E is where you elevate to revenue opportunities. This is where you get your coin. This is where you speak up for your worth. You own your worth. Those relationships you've started to build with decision makers. Here is where you bring it all in. You make the ask. You make the offer. You don't shy away from your worth, your value. So here is just an example of some rates that you might be charging for a speaking fee. That could be anywhere from $2,500 to $15,000 per engagement. Depends on the organization, the audience, the purpose, the outcomes. Consulting, you could be earning $15K to $50K plus per project. Advisory, that could be $2,000 to $5,000 per month. This is not a limit either, by the way. And it's starting to understand how your expertise creates value. How much are you saving or earning them? How much are you reducing risk? How quickly are you accelerating results? And understand for them, what is the cost of not hiring you? If they don't fix their issue, what happens? Understand that and ask those questions in your discovery calls. What happens if this continues? And really understand the pain that their organization would be facing if they continue to face this problem for another year. And if that's a problem you can solve, what is the value to this company? If that's a $100,000 value and you're charging $1,000, something ain't adding up. So understand what is the cost of not hiring you, and understand how your expertise creates value. Your mindset has to realize your worth. Your mindset has to be not shy. You have to advocate for yourself. And yes, you deserve that. But again, it's not about what you deserve. It's about what you can articulate, what you can negotiate, what you can demonstrate. And this is about being able to create multiple streams of revenue, being able to increase the freedom for yourself. Somebody earlier said freedom and flexibility, right? It's not about greed. It's really about creating more options for yourself. So we have to normalize having money conversations, normalize the number, normalize increasing your rate by 500%, So here's another prompt that you can use you can have AI help you navigate some money conversations. So based on specific achievement, I typically see organizations achieve what's their priority. So again, you're connecting your work, your achievements, your wins to your decision makers and their priorities, what they care about. You're using that RISE language. And then you're connecting that to the investment. And if they don't have the budget, Give them another option with a lesser scope. Don't give them discounts. Don't be quick to offer discount. Just decrease the scope. So here's how I have Claude help me and my clients. We set up a project for, the work that we're trying to do, the offers, the goal. We drop in the expertise, all of that. And then we have help me prepare for this conversation with this person. What objections might they have? And how should I respond? So we're running out of time, but I want to leave you with just a few more things. So to elevate your revenue, get really comfortable with your wins. Get really comfortable with articulating the value of those wins to the folks who you're trying to impact, the decision makers, and then practice your number out loud. Because these are real conversations that you will be having, and you need to feel confident and stand in that dollar amount that you're asking for. Say it out loud, practice it, speak up on it, because every time we accept less than our worth, we train the market to devalue us. Your pricing is a form of leadership. So you have to be courageous. You have to own your value. You have to be unapologetic about it. They are not going to keep undervaluing us once we no longer undervalue ourselves. And you have to know what your walk-away number is. So if you're working with clients, if you're, getting an offer for a speaking opportunity or a job offer, know what your number is to walk away. And walk away if it's not meeting that. We're no longer working from desperation or from survival mode. So I want you to think about your vision 6 to 12 months from now, walking into meetings and commanding attention, or organizations seeking you out for consulting, conference organizers who are calling you to speak. Think about that. Make sure you sit with that vision. That vision will really drive you to have these conversations. You can screenshot this real quick. I won't go through the whole thing because I'm out of time, but this is something I love to do with Claude too, is help me envision and manifest the dream. And it'll give you, what are some daily habits? What are some mindsets? What are some fears that I need to overcome? And then I'll just turn it on. I'll have it literally like paint me a beautiful picture of the outcome. And then I'll turn it on the voice activation, and it'll just talk to me and speak life into me. And I have friends, of course. I have friends. I have family who does that. But it's cool to have the AI do that too. Sometimes before I go to sleep, Freddie, my fiance, he knows, we'll just play these affirmations, and it is so cool. Like, it'll just paint the picture for you. So it's really, kind of like my homegirl. But again, I promise I have friends. But so yeah, save that. So yes, I'm really out of time. But here is, I'm going to leave you with the guide. So that has all of the prompts here. And it's an implementation assistant for you. But I just want to remind you all, you are that woman, you are that girl. You deserve to be in every room that you dream of. You deserve to be on those stages. You deserve to collect the coin. Don't ever doubt yourself. Just start owning your value, even if it's $1,000 at a time, 1K more. The next time, another 1K. The next time, add 5K. Just slowly start to take those steps, own that value, and just know your expertise deserves to be visible and you deserve to be paid. Thank you so much. Let's keep building together. I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you so much, Dr. Brandeis. Thank you so much to Dr. Mendelin here. She's the reason. This is all possible from a cold outreach connection. I did not know anybody in this room before a few months ago. connected with Dr. Mendelin just from reaching out and being curious about her world. She told me about Dr. Brandeis in this summit, just pitched myself, and now here I am. So just continue to believe in yourself, continue to take those steps and those actions, because I want to see more of us on stages. I'm tired of all of the same old boring faces at these conferences. So I want y'all to be the true thought leaders you are, because I know you all have that within you. So thank you so, so much.
Tonight, doing all I can tonight, 'cause I got this feeling life's alright, alright. Alright, alright. Alright, alright.